Now I know you are probably going to fight with me on this, but this list in this order is the truth, or one version of the truth at least. The 13 countries in the world who speak the best English, non-native speakers of course. And if you don't agree, well, just blame these guys. But they did use 2 million people for the test, so not bad. One of the world's smallest countries has one of the grandest names, the Grand Duchy of Luxembourg. It's multicultural, full of travellers, and the locals seem to grow up as polyglots.
If you would have children that would go to school here, they would be learning anywhere between 3 to 4, even 5 languages before they turn 18.
Yes, and English is one of those languages, but maybe the teachers don't mind the challenge. I mean, life really isn't that hard when your local restaurant has 1,746 wine choices on the menu. Wait, South Africa? I must be lying here. Everyone knows South Africa is an English-speaking country, no?
Honourable Cardo, I would caution against problematizing.
Purple, that is a problem, all right. Truth is, only 8% of South Africans speak English as a first language. For most, it's a second or even a third language. And since the quality of English education in many public schools is really low, it's impressive that they made this list. And in everyday life, the second language speakers do a pretty good job.
This is the average South African Afrikaans person trying to speak English accent.
So Ndebele, Swazi, Zulu and Xhosa, all 4 we fall under one group. We call ourselves Nguni people.
When little Germans are 6 and sent off to school, they know they're going to be taught English, and it is no laughing matter. Germans are schooled quite rigorously in English. Luckily, they get a giant cone full of treats to take the edge off. Anyway, Germans finish high school with a really good theoretical grasp of English.
Periwinkle.
No.
Periwinkle.
No. Oh, that was
Periwinkle.
No.
Periwinkle.
No.
Periwinkle.
Yes.
But how good they actually are at speaking depends on how much fun they have practicing.
I'm 19 years old and I'm living in Germany near Stuttgart, and I only speak English in the school sometimes, and this is definitely not enough.
Now, if you're wondering how this big list of countries who speak English works, well, the EPI is taken online. It tests your reading and listening skills. It measures whether you can recognise implied meaning and nuances of expressions. Easy if you're a native speaker, not so easy if you're not. We'll put a link to the study itself in the description in case you want to read up on the findings. Beyond their borders, Croatians have little use for their own language, so learning English is a necessity these days, and they do it well.
Hello, my name is Maria, and I'm here strong learning English.
Whoops, wrong Croat, but what a cool granny. Let's try again.
I was like, oh my god, I want to play it. And then I'm here now.
Our biggest project and ambition is a Croatian National Badminton Center where all players will train together.
English is compulsory in Croatian schools, and people that I've chatted with say that in the big cities up to 90% of people can speak English. But watch this space, this number might be going up because Croatia recently introduced a digital nomad residence permit. And that's going to bring in a lot more English speakers for the Croats to practice with. Now, as you'll see, every country in this list has amazing English skills, and there is one thing that all these countries have in common. People there are surrounded by English. They get tons of exposure and tons of practice at the language. This isn't an evening class once a week thing for them. The language is part of their daily life. So if you are learning a new language and you want to improve your speaking skills, well, you should copy what these countries get right and just practice more often. It's not rocket science, and the sponsor of today's video helps you do it really easily. So Lingoda is an online language school where you can take classes with native level teachers and really immerse yourself in the language from wherever you are in the world. I actually interviewed Mike, the CEO of Lingoda, on my podcast recently, and I was really impressed with how committed he is and they are to helping language learners improve their skills. The Lingoda model is small online classes with a maximum of 5 students, which is really interesting if you haven't tried it before, and a nice change of pace from one-to-one classes because you get a lot more interaction with different people. So with all that speaking practice, you will find that your confidence in speaking really starts to grow fast. Now, Lingoda teaches Spanish, French, German, and of course, English and business English, and they have classes 24 hours a day, which is quite something. Now, we've been talking about daily practice, and so what's really cool is that Lingoda has a special 2-month language sprint. Now, depending on how fast you want to learn, you can choose either the Sprint Challenge, which includes 15 classes per month, or the Super Sprint Challenge, which includes 30 classes per month. But get this, you actually get cash back. That's right, your money back if you show up to every class during the sprint. That's right, so if you attend all 15 lessons in the Sprint Challenge, you will get a 50% refund. And if you attend all 30 lessons in the super sprint, you get all of your money back. So in other words, you take a bunch of language classes, improve your speaking a whole ton, and get your money back. I mean, it sounds like a pretty good deal. Click the link in the description below for more info on the next sprint and when it starts, if you dare. The way it works is really simple. Just choose your language, select your sprint, show up, and claim your cashback reward. And if you use the code Olly2022, you will even get $25 off your deposit. Remember, Olly2022, link in the description. You'll be joining more than 40,000 people who have already participated in previous Lingoda sprints. So you're in good company, and thank you, Lingoda, for sponsoring the video. You are awesome. Okay, now back to the best English speakers in the world. Who's next? Now, when you have to sit in a sauna for 8 months just to keep warm, you have plenty of time to practice your English.
Now, this is the oldest of the Finnish sauna types and also the most dangerous, so with this one I really recommend that you let someone who is more experienced to do it.
But there's another way that Finns don't only warm up but also get lots of English practice. Finns love their heavy metal, and many of the top Nordic metal bands sing in excellent English. They are so popular around the world, in fact, that the opposite is also true. Thousands of English fans are trying to learn Finnish. And if you like the idea of learning Finnish, and even if you don't, to be honest, why not subscribe to the channel? I've heard that subscribing to this channel magically improves your language skills. Maybe. Okay, these guys are basically singing when they speak Swedish. So if you hear a Swede singing in English, they might just be trying to talk to you. The kind of sing-song sound is because Swedish has what's known as a pitch accent. Now, Swedish schools are big on equal opportunity for all, and English is compulsory. But when they leave school, young Swedes are encouraged to be international and adventurous.
We drove on a beach, and it was completely dark, and we kind of ran into a river. And there was water all over, and Lucky Charms all over the RV, and but somehow we got out of the river, but we got stuck in the sand.
It is no wonder they are singing their way through English. So there is a Latin country that is really good at English, but when your country is close to Britain and you have beaches like this and waves like this, it's impossible not to be saturated with English expats and surfers, and that means, well, lots of learning opportunities, at least in the main hotspots.
I feel very blessed to live in Portugal, to be able to be so quick everywhere I want to go. All the beaches are so close to the city, and that gives you the life you really want.
But most English speakers in Portugal are professionals, and with English as a global language, it's this access to work that makes English such an important language for people to learn in different countries. On a side note, this is also why it's become such a viable career option to actually teach people English, because people around the world, well, they need to learn English for work and life, and they need people to practice with. So if you are an English speaker, you can actually make a really good income from home in your spare time helping people to learn English over Zoom. I know many people who have quit their jobs to do this, and they love it because it's so rewarding and they get to connect with and help people all over the world. I actually teach a program called the Online Teaching Accelerator where I show you how to get involved in this world. We operate a waiting list, so it's not something that you can just sign up to, but if you'd like more info on that, there'll be a link in the description below. Got to love a country that breaks the boring rules of society. As of February 2022, the Belgian passport now features images of Tintin and the Smurfs, and I'm not even joking. And if Tintin and the Smurfs can speak English, as we know they do, well, why not the rest of Belgium too?
Recently, it has been officialized, but before that it wasn't. So my mother and my father spoke Flemish at home.
Only 0.2% of the world lives here, and half of them are foreigners, so people are very interconnected and hear English all the time. But the average Belgian speaks at least 2 or 3 languages, often 4 or 5, so I can see why they are number 6 on this list. They eat reindeer and walk around with chewing tobacco under their lips, even the women, but you don't just get to number 5 without being a little weird.
As I know of, I think we're the only people who talk on in-breath as well as out-breath. So it's not unusual for us to be like, yeah, how are you doing? It sounds so weird in English, but I actually talk like that a lot.
If you think about it, Norway being amazing at English makes complete sense. The Norse languages had a huge influence on English after the whole Viking saga 1,000 years ago. Singapore wins hands down for most efficient English in my book.
Singaporeans do this because it's just a more efficient way of getting your message across, or maybe we're just lazy. So for example, never mind becomes never mind. I don't want it becomes don't want. Excuse me becomes excuse. Like that becomes like that.
Okay, technically that is Singlish, which is English hugely influenced by Mandarin, Tamil, and some other languages, and well, efficiency as well. Let's see it in action.
Sir, I believe someone needs to step up to the plate, and someone of my leadership abilities will fit your role exactly of what you're expecting and the responsibilities that entail.
Okay, good. You take.
Singapore is a cosmopolitan city jam-packed with expats, and English is the de facto second language. Do you think it matters that they're actually speaking a kind of Creole? Well, the government thinks so. In 2000, they launched a campaign that's intentionally countering the use of Singlish. It's called the Speak Good English movement. Yeah, I hear it too. Danes are obsessed with cycling, no matter what the weather, but when people say that Danes aren't friendly to foreigners, they're just tapping into the wrong obsession.
Well, that's something that is similar in Finland and in Denmark as well, that we both like beer, and I find it great because it's a great way of relaxing with colleagues from the work and from the study groups to have a beer over, and that's a great way to socialize as well.
Fun fact, in medieval times the water was so dangerous to drink that Danes drank beer instead. I mean, you have to stay hydrated when you cycle everywhere, don't you? Denmark is also famous for their excellent publicly funded schools with small class sizes, and like all Scandinavians, they are of course taught, guess what? English. Excited for number 2? Well, English is one of their favourite things. Great job, Maria, but no, that is not what real Austrians sound like.
Last week, we went down to Schwechat, me and my band, to play at the Battle of the Bands.
That is better. Well, this is a Viennese accent to be precise, and in Vienna, even the German is different to the rest of the country. So why are they so good at English? Maybe because Austria has these free bookshelves scattered around the city, and plenty of those books are English ones. So whoever you are, you get free access to English books. Hey, can we check and see we've got our books in those shelves? Also, schools have been teaching their kids English since World War II ended, so the grandparents are practically bilingual. Now, drumroll, want to find out who is most smoking hot at English? Yes, we all know they live in windmills and can roll joints in the shape of a tulip, but have you heard a Dutch person speaking English?
Do all the Dutch people speak English very well? Well, it's a good question. I'm Dutch myself, and often when I travel or when I meet people from other countries, they say, "Oh, your English is very good," but it's very normal in the Netherlands, right? Because everyone speaks English very well.
Not too bad, Jan. But Dutch people, of course, have always been globetrotters since the old seafaring days. In fact, many Dutch students do gap year internships and volunteer in English-speaking countries. So congratulations, Netherlands. But it's not just these 13 countries that speak great English. Much of the world uses English just to get stuff done. But why? Well, in this video, I will explain exactly how and why English went viral in the first place. Like a TikTok video, kind of, except with a much more interesting story.